Hey guys, this is Bryan Chatlin with Friends from Work. Let's chat. I'm here with Courtney tonight. Rick is out sick, so Courtney and I are going to talk about some things past, future, and all the wonderful goodness in the world of geek and practice thumb wrestling, I guess. Rick's not here. We don't know. We'll talk to you soon. Stay tuned.
Everybody come on, let's get down. Get down.
We'll talk to you soon. I got to work on my intro. This is ridiculous. Courtney, hi. You're muted. What are you doing? There you are.
Okay, now I'm not muted. It's a little slow on my end.
How you doing?
Hi. Good. How are you, Bryan?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a gorgeous day, and we got all sorts of news for everybody.
Yes, we are. We're going to do that. It'll be fun.
We're going to do the thing that we just said that we're going to do. Hey, I got a question for you first off, because I think we bypassed this. Who are you? Like, why are you here? We're on TV. We're telling people our opinions about things, but we never really got into why.
I know. It's amazing what happens when you decide to start a podcast and you just assume that everybody knows who you are and why they should listen to you.
We've done like 5 or 6 practices, so there's a point where we got to circle back and do some intros,
right? And tell people who don't know who we are. Well, my name's Courtney. So I've always loved pop culture, movies, TV, books, like anything that has been like an escape from reality. I've always loved it. Decided to pursue acting at a very young age and still on that fun little track to see what I can make of, my dreams in that way. So, and that's actually how, Bryan, you and I met. You did headshots for me way back when, and they worked. I still use quite a few of them to this day. They work really well.
And you do fitness as well. And some of those shots we had you Supermaning in the, like you did a push-up
in the air.
What was that?
That was super fun. I use that a lot too. That's actually on one of my websites.
What was that? You got to tell about what that was. That was a specific thing.
Yeah. So I, at the time I was still kind of exploring where I was going to go next in my career, and I had opened up my own business, but I hadn't really figured out what I was going to do yet. So at the same time, right after I'd gotten headshots in with Bryan, I was like, I need to get some fitness packaging stuff put together for this website so I can actually launch my business. So did that. And it's been great so far. I stay very busy, which is awesome. Still pursuing acting. It's hard. But it's one of those things where you can't not do it. I'm sure you understand that.
Once you're bit, you're bit. It's the way it is.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you can do anything else and be happy for the rest of your life, then you are not meant to be an actor. Like that. It's just, it's one of those weird things. Yeah. I know. So yeah, that's who I am. I'm a little all over the place. I travel a lot. I love to travel. Travel's like the second love behind acting. But I love to read. I read a lot. I love,
what do you like
movies,
to read?
All that stuff. Really anything. Fantasy and like adventure fiction are kind of like my favorite, but I do love a good nonfiction. We're going to talk about that here in a second. My library card, like the digital library card, has changed my life and saved me so much money, which is.
You have a library card?
I have a library card, and I use it like quasi daily. Like I churn through. Oh my gosh, yes. So there's this app called Libby. And almost every library system uses it now. And you can get like Kindle edition books that's sent to your Kindle, but you can also get Audibles or any sort of audio book on your phone as well. So I've been able to like churn through stuff, which has been great. Because before I had to budget myself and I couldn't spend as much on books. And then, Audible's expensive. So anyways, it's rocked my world. So highly recommend if you haven't done that. But yeah, that's a little about me. It's nothing too exciting. I do have a day job on top of my own business, so I stay busy. But you got to in this industry, you got to stay busy.
Yep. Now tell me about your geekdom. What drew you in? What's your big fix? What do you?
So the thing that bit me in terms of geekdom is growing up. As you know, Disney princesses are kind of the scope of all that little girls when I was growing up really had, that looked like you, that sounded like you, that you could relate to. And as much as I was into it for a really long time, I quickly discovered superheroes and latched on to the female superheroes. And like, that has been like, I love this stuff. And then from there, it's a whole entree world into so much other stuff. So I primarily grew up with that. And then like, I'm a huge fan of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, huge fan of the National Treasure franchise. All that kind of stuff I'm a huge nerd for. I love history, all that kind of stuff. I was quasi recently, about 5 years ago, introduced heavily into Star Wars. My fiance is a huge Star Wars nerd. And my sister works for Lucasfilm, which is super fun. So that was kind of my first major.
Wait, you're new to Star Wars?
I'm new to Star Wars. Yeah. Relatively new, like last 5 years. I know.
Every time I talk to you about Star Wars, like you've got all of the characters' names on the tip of your tongue, ready to go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so in college, we studied it. I had a professor that was a huge Star Wars fan. So we studied a lot of Star Wars in college. So I've written papers and I've given presentations, and like you have to watch it enough, or at least do enough research to sound educated when you're, talking about it with your peers in like a quasi educational setting. But then on top of that, like it's once I think you're in a state where you understand it, it's really quickly to remember the names and like remember the places and how, what I mean? Like it's become more digestible with a lot of the supporting content. And I think that's something that's helping the franchise a lot. Which is really unique because typically more content creates more confusion, but I feel like it's the reverse for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who are you, Bryan?
Who am I? Let's see. My mom recorded on VHS when I was little. 2 movies. One of them was Wrath of Khan, which is all-time classic. Missed the first 3 minutes of it, but I remember exactly where it stepped in. And I'm spacing right now the other movie, but that was important. Wrath of Khan. Empire. So because I had those 2 movies basically pulled off a cable on VHS, and they were available at all times, and we didn't really have cable, I watched those 2 over and over and over and over and over and over. And then when Top Gun came out, got that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So add that to the mix. And so I was a little boy that wanted to be a fighter pilot. So they do the musicals at school, in elementary school. I'm like, I don't need to learn how to dance. I'm going to be a fighter pilot. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Go with that, man. Let's see how that works out for you. You're right. Nobody wants to dance with a fighter pilot.
That was your entrance into
that was my entrance, and
pop culture
and it's been fun. So somewhere along the way, I got my hands on all the books for Star Wars, all the extended universe, and absolutely fell in love with it. Yeah. And then George Lucas came back and made Episode 1, and basically threw all of those books out the window. And I went, cool. Got it. I loved Abyss growing up. Abyss is one of my all times. Aliens you've seen Aliens?
I've seen Aliens. Yeah. It
is still one of the all-time greatest female borderline superhero. So female-led action movie, suspense, horror, sci-fi. I'm trying to think of like it crosses like 20 different genres, and it blows them all out of the water. Yeah. So it's the fact that pieces like that, sci-fi is known for that. Sci-fi is known for pushing a lot of lines, pushing a lot of boundaries. The fact that the movie was Alien was practically written as a standard sci-fi action movie, and then they said, well, what happens if we cast a woman?
Yeah.
It's that sci-fi is rife with that kind of a thing. It's watching Star Trek in high school because Next Gen was on the air. Yeah, no, I went full geek. But the fun thing is I got down here. I'm ex-military. Got down here and got into acting. And once you're bit by the bug, man, you're in. And I was definitely a fan of Spider-Man. I was definitely a fan of some of the other characters. And I think the first Tobey Maguire movie had come out, and I was all on board with it. And then I got a phone call one day from Marvel Comics where they basically said, we found your information online and we'd like to know, dramatic pause, would you like to be Spider-Man? And like, there's only one answer to this question. There's only one. The answer is yes. So they said, okay, you guys are going to love this. They said, okay, well, we need your contact information. And are you available this weekend? I said, yes. It's like, cool. We're going to fly up to Manhattan for superhero training. So I got to go up to Manhattan to learn from other Spider-Man how to be Spider-Man. And I spent a decade traveling around the country, doing anything from military bases to NASA, to parades, to all the rest of that fun stuff, being Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Wolverine. And once I retired, I'm in. Like I'm so deep into Marvel at this point that I'm a Marvel guy, and that's my geek resume. And
that's awesome.
So
that's awesome.
And one of the things I love about geek, by the way, you're talking about different aspects of geek, and it reminded me of this. I was actually hanging out with some friends the other night. And it's fun because I'm introducing multiple geeks to each other. And so you've got a room full, and this is fascinating to watch. You'll absolutely get this. This is amazing. You've got a room full of very intelligent, I'm going to call them neurodivergent geeks.
Yeah.
And if you know what neurodivergent means, then you'll know exactly where I'm going with this. And it was funny because they all were presenting as neurotypical, doing standard mature adult small talk in the conversation. And it's amazing. Once like the geek topics were breached, all of a sudden everybody
floodgates.
Oh, thank you. And the conversation woke up, and it was amazing because I've got a friend that his geek is like video games. Sean joined us for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Video games. He's been Marvel with me. He does D&D. He does other tabletops, and like the guys like all geek. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I was introducing them to a certain somebody, and the certain somebody, she's introducing a different kind of geek. She's definitely into Lord of the Rings, but it was interesting because one of the things that she geeks out on, one of the things is comedic twists on classical music.
Interesting.
And it's interesting. It's a geek side I haven't seen before, and I've seen a few of what she geeks out about, and I'm going, okay, that's actually really funny. And it's it's brilliant minds at play, and it doesn't matter what your geek is. It's going to be interesting. And what I was loving is that you've got different types of geek in the room, and it doesn't matter. This is a safe place for all geek. I love that. Yep. So, folks, welcome to the room where geek is safe.
Yeah. And
just don't disagree with us because we're right.
I will say that is one thing I've loved about, pop culture, geek, nerdom, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Like, it is a safe space for the most part. Like there's some fans about certain topics that get very excited and riled up, but for the most part, it's a really safe space. And I think that's what so many people find comfort in. Yeah. And it's just come such a long way in the past 10, 15, 20 years. And that's really cool.
It's accepted. It's okay. It's cool to let the geek out. It's amazing. I'm on board with it. And it's fun because even when people get fired up, it's usually still a fun fired up.
Yes. It's an energy, like an excited energy. And like, it just, like to your point, what you said the other night, like it livens up a room. And it's amazing how something like a movie or a franchise of comic books or, whatever it may be can do that for a whole room and conversation.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got some fun things to talk about today. Is that good for intros? We've been wanting to do intros for a while. How does that feel?
Yeah.
I
think it feels good. Like maybe people know who we are now. Yeah. Cool. I'm sure a lot of these are, I think it's fine. Maybe if they want to know more about us, they'll stalk us on social media, I suppose. So I guess
we've got our links at the bottom of our names, guys. We figured out how to do that today.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Slowly learning.
Bit by bit. This is a learning process. I wanted to post this week because we got a little bit of polish still to do. We're still working some bugs out. So thanks.
So bear with
you guys
us.
for watching. So we got some news. What's your first big piece of news?
Yeah, so we're gonna start every show now, guys. After we can do a little banter. Like we're gonna actually have a format here because it feels like we need some consistency. So news is we're gonna start at the top of every show with a few things that have happened in the past week or so that are newsworthy around pop culture. So the first thing I want to talk about is the lovely Viola Davis got her EGOT.
Now
Bryan, do you know what an
EGOT is? Because I don't even know what that is. What's an EGOT? And can it be fixed with medication? Don't laugh at that. That was
an
bad.
EGOT, it was terrible. So an EGOT is an exclusive, like it's very hard to achieve. It is when someone has earned an Emmy. They have also earned a Grammy. They have also earned an Oscar, and they have also earned a Tony. And Viola Davis now has all 4. She won the Grammy for her audiobook, Finding Me. I read it and I listened to her read it. I got the Audible through the library, and it was amazing. Like it has been one of the best nonfiction books I have ever read. It was my favorite book of January. I'm doing this thing every month that like I post my favorite book on like my story. There's a fun little template. Anyways. But yes, it was phenomenal. And like her story is just, it's incredible. And she's come from like, anyways, her story's incredible and she does an amazing job narrating it, and you can just hear the emotion as she's, you know, retelling these different pieces of her life. Like you hear the excitement, you hear the despair, you hear like the loss or the just like the happy moment, and it was just amazing. Highly recommend. So if you haven't read her book, you absolutely should. You will fly through it. You can't put it down. And she has just incredible advice throughout the book as well, not just for actors or people who want to be in the entertainment business, but any person will take something away from that book. She's just incredibly, she's brilliant. So
now
that was very exciting. Finding Me by Viola Davis.
Finding Me by Viola Davis. Okay, yes, I had no idea she's gone after. She's had all of those awards. That is insane.
Yes.
Any one of those is a career maker.
I know, right?
Okay. A little bit of lighter, you know, up in the air. Yeah. Well done, woman. Jeez.
She's amazing. Yeah. And she started, her history of how she got to where, you know, she is today is just amazing. And that she started on Broadway or off Broadway to Broadway. And again, she just has, it's amazing. So highly, I cannot recommend it enough.
Huge. Love that. Okay. Lots of love to Viola Davis.
Yes.
All right.
What you got?
I have some interesting news from Amazon Studios. Okay. And this is fun. So they've got a Spider-Man noir series, live action, that is supposedly on the way.
Interesting. So my one requirement is that Nick Cage is involved somehow.
I was going to ask, who would you cast? Because he's not as young as he once was.
I know.
And it's remembering it's set in the 30s.
Yeah.
So it's set in the 30s, and it is basically, it turns into a vigilante one-man war against the criminal underbelly of the city. So a very like old school Batman.
Yeah.
I'm very curious.
I don't know.
So Nick
like
Cage,
part of me says Andrew Garfield, but like I do, but I don't. I don't know. I'm torn. I don't know. I feel like you need a no name. I feel like you need somebody like one of us who can come in and just like own that role.
Right.
I don't know. Like I've just become more and more like, I don't know what blanket or like a bit more of an advocate for letting newer actors, like up and coming actors, really own a role versus, I know like fan casting is such a big deal. Maybe this is a hot take. I don't always get the hype on fan casting because I feel like people are always upset because obviously a fan cast is never going to be perfect. But I don't know.
Tell me about a fan cast. Tell me about like one that pops up to mind. Where are you with that? When you say fan casting, what do you mean? And you froze. Why are you freezing? The one, if you can.
So, for example,
there we go. Okay.
In
you're frozen again. You're frozen.
Multiverse of Madness.
Okay, back up because you're
big fan
freezing
cast,
a lot.
Like when fans go through and like I froze.
You froze a lot.
I don't know.
There you are. Hi.
Yes, I can hear you.
There we go. Okay, cool. Sorry about that, guys. We're back, and here with me is Courtney Cheek. Courtney, you were telling me about fan service, fan casting.
I need to check my Ethernet.
Uh-oh.
I know. I don't know. Oh gosh.
Oh goodness. All right. Okay, so there you're
fan casting. So
Okay. This is just good television,
live again?
Folks.
Am I still skipping?
This is There's a
This is why I don't understand the live. I don't get it.
We'll figure this out. We got this.
This is terrible. This is supposed to be a podcast. Damn it.
It's all right. There's a bit of a delay on your video, but you're back to blinking in real time now, so it looks good.
Fabulous. Okay, so the biggest fan cast, back to real-time programming.
There you are.
The biggest fan cast that I think is John Krasinski with Multiverse of Madness. Like, that was something people were screaming for.
I'm still screaming. I want him in Fantastic Four still.
See, that's another one. Everybody thought he was going to be the engineer in WandaVision, and they never circled back to that. But yeah, the aerospace engineer. You talking about in WandaVision? People wanted him as the aerospace engineer in WandaVision, which was going to be the tie to Fantastic Four.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. So those were two and obviously they can't do both. He can't be back in Fantastic Four, but also have been in Multiverse of Madness. It just anything can happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like fan casting just can set unrealistic expectations for the actor that inevitably gets the role and inevitably is not as well known, usually in most cases, as the actor who gets it.
Now I'm going to add a fan casting that I'm 100% in support of.
Okay.
The X-Wing pilot in Mandalorian. Did you know that was fan casting?
No, I did not know that.
The X-Wing pilot.
No. I did know this. This. Yes, I did know this. Okay.
That he was a full-on fan, and they brought him in, made him an X-Wing pilot, and I'm absolutely on board with it. He's one of the memorable characters. I love the guy. So yes, please to a little bit of that, but he's also not the lead that's carrying the show. So there's a question. There's a question about that. Fan casting. Okay. Well, so that's my news on the Spider-Man Noir series. That'll be fun to kind of chew over. I hope that turns into something fun.
I'm excited to see what happens there.
Keep our eyes open for news. What else you got?
So we know the Super Bowl's coming up this weekend. Yep. We know Rihanna's doing the halftime shows. So I've had some coworkers of mine have been speculating, debating what songs she's going to do, if she's going to do anything new. I don't think she's going to do anything new. I think she's going to stick with her classics. I think when you do Super Bowl, you got to stick with the classics, right? You're not going to do brand new stuff. So that's what I think. I don't necessarily have
Okay. See, and I don't know that I'm
play these songs.
And I don't know that I'm even going to.
The other thing with the Super Bowl
game.
Go ahead.
I don't know that I'm even going to be able to watch the game, so you'll have to tell me
why.
I think I have a shoot.
Well, that's fun. That's good. That's a good thing.
That's a good reason. That's a good excuse. It works.
That's a good reason. And then there's also, all the buzz about all the different commercials that are going to come up. So we'll see. There was that huge M&M's thing that they were talking about where they scrapped the M&M's of the new commercial because people being weird about footwear, but whatever. So we'll see how the commercials are.
Yeah. Okay.
So TBD.
Bueno. I got a little bit of I got good news and I got bad news. You pick. Which one do you want? Good news and bad news?
I want the bad news first so I can recover the good news.
There's a whole thing this week, a whole buzz about the tiered seating prices at AMC theaters.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of this? Have you seen this? What do you know?
Yes. I've heard about it. I've seen it. I don't. I have the Cinemark pass. I have the AMC pass, and now thank God, because that is so stupid. Why? I don't get it. It's really irritating to me. Yeah, don't do that. It's not needed. Don't stop.
Yeah, it's monetizing everything to the nth degree. Guys, knock it off. So what they're doing, I was reading the article on it. I was a little curious because it starts sounding good. They're calling it Sightline, and what they're doing is the least desirable seats, like the ones in the first row or two, in front of the screen, are going to be a lower price, which is great. It's lower than what they're saying the normal theater prices are. And so those are the undesirable seats, are lower price. And if they stop there, I might be okay with that, because nobody really wants to sit in those seats.
I feel like there's the other shoe that's dropping, and I don't like it.
The other shoe is the seats in the center of the theater that everybody wants are going to be premium bump ticket price.
So dumb.
And that's where the question comes in, is what's the bump? How big is the zone? And no, there's an entire like, guys, come on now, just knock it off. They're trying it out in a couple of cities. I hope it absolutely fails miserably, because the fact that we've got to reserve seats, I'm still kind of mixed about reserving seats. I think it should be a first come, first serve. I
agree. It's a little capitalistic, I guess, if that's a word I can say and use that. I don't know. It's one of those things where I get it. They're trying to find another revenue stream, because at the end of the day, they don't make money on tickets. They just don't. Like, as long as this has been going on, it's been concessions where they make their money. So it's like, I guess they're just trying to find that additional revenue stream, because maybe people just aren't buying snacks anymore. Like, I'm hit or miss when I go to the movies, if I buy food or not. Depends. Like, did I just eat before? I'm not buying something. Did I not eat? Yeah, maybe I'll get a popcorn. Like it depends. Yeah. But I also don't drink soda. So like, I ain't buying a $7 soda that's this big. Like, you're not getting my money for that. So it's
gotten horrible with the pricing. And one of the ones that the AMC theater near here, I'll go in from time to time and get a hot dog, and that's it. Just give me a hot dog. And they will say, okay, go stand over there and wait. I'm like, the hot dogs are right behind you. Can you grab a hot dog and hand it to me, please? And I'm standing over there for 10 minutes because they've changed. The only people touching the hot dogs are going through the list of, okay, we're doing that now. It has turned into enough of an issue. And the fact that you can stream most of this stuff at home fairly quickly now.
That's a huge deal. Yeah.
I'm glad you started with the positive. I do get that they're trying to figure out how to stay afloat.
Yes.
Like,
totally
we don't want the movie theaters to go away, but there's got to be,
it's got to be affordable. And you have to think about from the family aspect too. Like, I'm one of 3 girls, like family, like mine growing up, like my parents wouldn't pay to have a premium seat. Like, don't do that. They'll wait till it comes on streaming if that's what's happening. But so think about like all the families that this is now affecting. Like, if we want to make going to the movie and it's an event again, like something people do, then it has to be affordable. And I feel like we're encroaching on that territory where it's gonna become like live theater, where it's no longer affordable. Like it's just going to be harder and harder to make sense of it, and then it becomes we're priced out of the market, and that sucks.
Which, and as many movies are coming out, when I was younger, we had, it felt like only a few movies per summer came out. And now we've got a few movies per week come out when things are really rolling. Yeah. It's there's a point where, no, you guys need to dial this down a little bit. And you've got the premium seating that in the middle of the theater. Okay. So now we've got classes seats. Cool. We're doing that.
I don't know. It's always something I've like, I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, the other thing I would love for once we get we have a good spot here, we should go to CinemaCon and like have like one of us go to that and like get all the info that's coming, because I feel like that would be awesome inside scoop.
I'm up for any con right now. Like, just let's go all the cons, just do all the things.
Right.
All right. So that was my bad news. I will have some good news for you here in a minute. What else you got?
Okay, so next one I got, I'm gonna jump into this. So speaking of Amazon Studios, so Amazon Studios, I found out one of my sisters works in post-production, and so she is actually working on a really interesting project coming up. It is a musical done by Amazon Studios called Musica. And I did a little bit of it seems really cool. I don't really know what to expect with it, but kind of what I've been able to read on Deadline and THR, it seems like it's going to be really interesting. So I love a good musical. I'm always game for a musical. If you didn't see Spirited on Apple TV, then you're wrong, because it was amazing. But I love a good musical.
It was fun. Brilliant, actually. It was very good.
It was brilliant. Good Afternoon will get stuck in my head on repeat for days at a time. It's terrible.
When you said Spirited, my brain first went to Spirited Away. I'm like, why is that relevant? Oh, right.
Wait, hold on. Carry the one back.
Yeah, back to the conversation. We're here.
Yeah,
we're good. We got this.
it's fine.
It's fine.
But yes, I love a good musical. So that was exciting.
Okay.
So I mean, she's not as into musicals as I am. I was a musical theater kid in school and growing up, so I'm like very close to it. But it was cool that she's working on one, and it sounds really, really fun. So Musica is coming soon, which will be cool.
Music is coming soon. All right, awesome.
Musica.
What
you got?
Let's see. I've got one other piece of news to throw in here, and that is apparently for Deadpool 3, Mr. Patrick Stewart has been told to, air quotes, stand by.
Wow.
So loving
that is really interesting.
It's Deadpool. He could be playing a role, or they could be doing one of those. They could walk past the room with all of the alumni in it, like they've done in previous Deadpool. Yeah. So there's no telling what it could be. But I would love to see, because Logan was supposed to be his last run. I would love to see him and Wolverine connecting again.
I would be really curious.
Yeah.
That would be really cool if he comes back.
I would love to see him trying to walk through Deadpool's brain and see what's in there. We could wind up with a whole multiverse of madness going on.
Wait, so is this going to be the Deadpool with
Wolverine?
Gosh, what's his name? I'm blanking. Was a Music Man. Hugh Jackman. Thank you. Yes. Good God, my brain. Thank you. With Hugh Jackman, is this the one is that gonna be the same movie? Can you imagine all three of them in a frame together?
I would be loving every minute of it, but I really want to see I really want to see Professor X try to walk through Deadpool's brain.
Oh my God. I am so here for it. So the X-Men movies were like the first superhero movies, because they were pre-Marvel, like being what it is. Like that was my first like big entree. Like my middle sister and I, back when, video stores were a thing, like we went one weekend and my parents were traveling, they were out of town. And so we got like all the way out. And we like had a whole bin. It was great. And we were like, we're addicted. And I'm like, X-Men. Love it. Anyways. Side note.
So remembering back to the first X-Men movie, do you remember this? Because they even made a crack about, is this what you guys go out in public in? What would you prefer was yellow spandex? It was interesting because it had a more realistic tint to it. And then you look back at it now, X number of years later, and you go, that was realistic back then. It was more realistic than anything we'd seen.
Yeah.
But
and it had like a very... I think they had to, because again, superheroes like weren't like, you had Batman, you had Superman, like but like at the same time, it's like we know what it is. This was such a different thing. I feel like they also had to make fun of themselves in that way in order to get a normal audience goer like me and my sister, who really had no business renting these movies, but we did, and we like fell in love with them. So like they had to have that like humor in there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, I got a random question for you.
Yeah.
What cartoon did you like? What's your absolute like throwback to childhood cartoon for you? What is the
like Saturday morning cartoon or like movie cartoon?
Whatever cartoon was your absolute favorite. Let's go 5th grade ish. What was your absolute just?
This is hard. So.
This is a fun one, though. I like this question.
This is super fun. I like this question, but it's hard for me. So I spent summers in Canada for the most part, because my mom's Canadian, and so all of our family's up there. So we would go for weeks at a time when we went, and it was always in the summer because it was easy, whatever. And my mom hates the Texas heat, so like she was like, "We're getting out of here." But they had cartoons up there that didn't have in the States until later. So like one of them was called Totally Spies. And it's like an anime type cartoon. It eventually aired, I think, on Cartoon Network here in the States, like after the fact. But I loved it. And it was super fun. It was like these 3 girls and they're spies. Anyways, my sisters and I and my cousins and I, we watched the crap out of that thing. But I also, my dad loved Bugs Bunny. So we had a lot of Bugs Bunny and Looney Tunes VHS tapes and DVDs growing up. So like that was another one that we would watch on repeat all the time. Favorite movie that's cartoon would be Pocahontas. She's my ride or die princess all day long.
She's ride or die. Okay.
She's my ride or die. What about you? What's your cartoon go to?
Well, my ride or die princess, I think, was Jasmine, honestly.
She's a good one.
She's a good one.
Yeah.
A little bit of awakening happening in me,
Oh my my God. Yeah.
You know.
Here
Okay,
for
so cartoon, a lot of Thundercats.
Okay.
There was an odd one that I remembered like a week or so ago called Jason the Wheeled Warriors, and I would challenge anybody who's watching this to pop in and tell me something about Jason the Wheeled Warriors, because that is one of those just obscure, nobody seems to remember it cartoons. But the original Cartoon Network was on. It's not the same setup it is now. They did a lot of Harmony Gold anime. And at that time, Robotech was playing a lot. So I like Robotech was a huge thing. I used to ride down the street with my buddy on our bikes, like singing the music from Robotech as though we're the fighters, and just
I like it.
That was definitely a geek moment. What else? What other news you got? What other craziness? We haven't talked about Ant-Man yet.
Oh yeah, Ant-Man's one we got to talk about. So
Ant-Man comes out in a week.
Go for it. When are you seeing it? Do you know?
What's that?
When are you seeing it?
I'm going to try to sneak in there as fast as I can, probably on the 16th, which is when it opens.
Yep. Cool.
Yep.
I'm excited for this. So I don't know about you. I know we were talking about this briefly earlier, but I'm hearing some really promising early reviews that we're going to get a little bit more insight into where the hell this phase is going.
Okay.
Which I'm really excited about, because I feel like that's been my biggest problem is a strong word. My biggest worry is I've had a really hard time piecing together like where we're going from here. Like they've announced all these titles, right? But at the same time, like you take a step back and you're like, wait a second. It's like phase one was this, phase two.
There's been one through line that I've been seeing through this entire phase, and that is them introducing the next generation. Every one of these projects is introducing a child version or a teenager version of the next. So they're introducing the next gen is the one through line that I'm seeing. And
we know Thunderbolts is coming too, and Young Avengers is coming. So like we know those projects are happening.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, you're right, but we'll see. Yeah.
I'm excited. Can I throw some things in there with the reviews?
Yeah,
this is
obviously
one of the lines that I found in the reviews that has me stepping back and going, is that apparently the line or the question that inspired Ant-Man Quantumania is, what would happen if Ant-Man suddenly found himself alone in an Avengers movie? That's fun.
Oh my God, I love that. That is so fun.
That is a step up to the plate kind of moment. So that tells us a little bit about the scale of the threat. That tells us, and apparently Kang is amazing.
Yes, I've heard Jonathan Majors' performance is just fabulous.
Apparently, like he absolutely steals every scene he's in, which is amazing given the rest of the cast. That's going to be fantastic.
Yes, this cast is huge.
Yeah, and people are saying that maybe some of the Ant-Man humor is not quite there, which happens when you raise the stakes. But what they're saying is that the actual maturity, the actual the threat, the dilemma is like the best they've seen since Endgame.
Whoa.
Yeah, so the bar's up here right now. I'm kind of up for that. Okay. I see you, Paula.
I was already here for it.
Yeah,
I already have my ticket, so I'm there. But like, okay, now I'm getting excited now. This is fun. Okay,
so
cool. Yay, that'll be fun.
I know. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so we got to figure out some way to get some reviews in once we see it, because I can't wait to see it and share it.
We should. That should be our episode, not next week, obviously, but the week after. Like that, we should just do like reactions. You know, I don't know if we want to. We need a spoiler graphic. We got to get that by the time we do that. But yeah, we should totally do an episode and talk about it. We do need spoiler graphic.
Yeah. Okay.
We do. We need one badly. We got to figure that out. Rick, if you're listening / watching, can you get us a spoiler graphic?
So
okay,
that's all the news I got. What else you got? What do you got? I
got one more. So Valentine's Day is coming up, as we all know. Some of us more than others. You know, this is again hot take. We need a hot take graphic too. I don't really celebrate Valentine's Day. Never have. Like my fiance and I, we're gonna go to dinner. Like we go to a Brazilian steakhouse and call it like our reason to go, because we like Brazilian. I love red meat. Like I'm a Texas girl, screw me. But like I I don't know. I've never gotten all the hype around Valentine's Day, but given it is Valentine's Day, there is something coming out that will tickle people's fancy. It's the next installment of.
Sounds a little. You're going to use those words on Valentine's Day, really, Courtney? We're doing that. I mean, bring it on.
It was too easy. It was right there. It was right there.
It's called low-hanging fruit, folks. This is what we work with. It's great.
It's fine.
All right. So, what is going to tickle people's fancy on Valentine's Day?
It may or may not. Depends on your cup of tea. But it is the latest installment of Magic Mike. So that next movie's coming out. Apparently, it is going to be. I've only seen bits and pieces of them. I've never seen one all the way through. I just haven't. But I do love Channing Tatum. I love a good step-up movie. Like, I danced for a really long time, so all that. But apparently, it really strips things down back to like nod, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But like to like a really good basic story, because I think from what I remember / understand, the original movies are all. I mean, it's a spectacle. It is what it is. It's about the show that is, now in Vegas, blah, 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 blah. But like this one's supposed to be a really great story, which is a cool take on it, still using that same world. So it could be a good option if you need something to do on Valentine's Day.
Awesome.
You never know. Okay. And then so I want to ask you.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. No, go.
No, go ahead. Do the thing.
What do you got?
I was going to say, so this is what you guys are doing on Valentine's Day, or are you?
Oh. Nah, we ain't doing that Valentine's Day. I'll probably watch it with. I'll be in LA in a couple of weeks, and I'll watch it with some friends then.
Okay.
That'll probably be what I'll do. So we'll see.
So what were you going to say?
You mentioned something earlier, and I wanted to ask you about it. So you mentioned Peripheral season 2.
Ah, yes.
What is that? I've never watched this.
Greenlit. You haven't watched it. Okay.
I don't know what it is.
I think I've got one more episode left. Oh man. Brief synopsis. Okay, so Peripheral is it stars Chloe Grace Moretz. Do you know the name?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know who she is. Yeah.
Good girl.
Know of her.
So so she is it's set in the I don't know the exact year, but it's set in the relatively near future. And she basically is a video game badass. And she gets sent a headset for VR that basically reads into her brainwaves. And it turns out there's some unusual, because the tech is unlike anything we've ever seen. And when she's sent into the game, it's fully tactile. It's more real than real. It's absolutely insane. And I don't want to give anything away, but you come to find out there's a heck of a lot more going on than just a game. And of course, the fact that she's an absolute badass is always fun. So she's an amazing actress. She's amazing to watch. Like her dramatic chops are serious. But let's be clear, it's Hit Girl, and she can do the fight scenes and do some real justice there. So no, it's a lot of fun. I got one more episode to watch, I think.
I need to watch this.
Yeah, we've got some fantastic talent in it. The art direction is gorgeous, and it's interesting because it bridges a number of different locales. It bridges a number of different worlds, and the fact that they've greenlit a season 2 makes me very, very happy. That is a like hard geek bit of sci-fi. So
that's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch that. That'll be fun.
Yes. That's my primary stuff for you. We got our intros in today.
Great.
We got some news. We got
did.
to talk about upcoming Ant-Man. I cannot wait for that. And we are still streamlining doing our outros. Was there anything else you want to do before we shut it down?
Yeah. So I think next week, if you guys aren't on board, I'm going to do it anyways. So Oscars are Monday. Oscar night is Monday this week, which is weird. It's not a Sunday. I don't know how I feel about it. It's a Monday, and But I'm excited for the Oscars. We have a lot of comic book nerd things that are up for Oscars this year. It's like the most than any other year, including Angela Bassett for Best Supporting Actress. We've also got Wakanda Forever. Ruth, I'm forgetting her last name. She's nominated for costume design. There's a ton of really high profile people who've worked on these films that are nominated. So I'm really excited to see what happened. So I'm going to want to talk about it.
So yeah, I want to hear your commentary on it. This is gonna be fantastic. All right.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Cool. All right.
I love the Oscars. I love award season.
I tend to follow back and find the list, and it's interesting because all of the Oscar nominations for Best Picture frequently for me are one watch. Like I'll watch a movie once and go, cool, I'm good, I'm exhausted, and this is not going to be added to my list of like my collection. And what's really weird is
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, that needs to be watched again. That's a little exhausting. That takes a lot of energy, but I need to watch it.
It is a lot of energy. Yeah.
What's weird though is like the weird popcorn contemporary crap sci-fi movies are the ones that I will watch 10 times over.
Yeah.
I've seen 2012. 2012 is delightful and silly and explosions and boom. And I've watched it so many times, it's ridiculous. And but the Oscar winners, maybe I'll watch once and that's it. Yeah. Is there something wrong with me? Is that normal?
No. Like La La Land, I've watched that movie. I've so many times, like watched that a million times. I love that movie. I mean, obviously like you have Black Panther in there. I've seen that so many times. Love this film.
I just saw that again last.
There's certain ones. Oh, so good.
So good.
So good.
The tears out of me.
Right. Well, Top Gun I've seen 3 times. Top Gun Maverick I've seen that 3 times, and that's nominated. I've only seen Avatar, the new Avatar Way of Water once, but like I've seen the first one so many times. So yeah. So again, it's like I think there's certain ones that become a little bit of a cultural phenomenon, and we latch onto it, and it shapes how stuff is for the next several years, and then it eventually circles back around. But I think there's a lot of what's done in some of the other lesser known Oscar winners, because if you just like survey the general public, they probably can't name an Oscar winning movie because they don't know about it. It's a very like niche community thing. But like I would love to do like a Courtney on the Street segment where we go around and ask people to name an Oscar movie and like see how many people say like take Titanic, and like that's it. Like
that's just that we need to add more questions to it. But yes, and punchline delivered, moving on. We gotta have a few more.
Exactly. But like the point being, I think it's one of those things where it shapes the culture of pop culture without being super explicit. So I don't know. I love it though. I love award season.
Love it. Okay, cool. All right. And you are going to be watching the Super Bowl on Sunday, and I am. We'll see. I don't even know.
I'll have a report on the commercials. It is the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. I had to think about that. I don't do NFL. I do college. I don't do NFL sports. Like I know enough to be dangerous, but once I decided I wasn't going the sports broadcasting route in college, I let a lot of that knowledge drop. So
fair. Okay.
But yeah, I'm more so watch for the commercials. I did have a professor in college. She was great, Dr. Kim Artrusky. And every year after Super Bowl, we would come in and we had to we debated about the commercials, and she did like a ranking system, and it was like a bracket of what commercials was the best. It was so much fun. Like it was one of the best projects we got.
Going through YouTube and finding the absolute best commercials out there is that's gotta do.
What is your favorite Super Bowl commercial of all time? Do you know one? Do you have one?
You're gonna throw me on the spot without any warning. We didn't talk about this.
I'll do mine. I'll do mine. It's okay. I know what mine is. So mine is, it's a Volkswagen commercial. I think it came out early 2010s or like late 2000s. And there's this little boy walking around in a Darth Vader costume, and you have like the Imperial March playing, and he's going around trying to get the Force to do on things, and nothing's working. And he goes out to the Volkswagen, and he's putting his hand out in the car, and like the music suddenly stops, and his hand's still out, and his head kind of drops, and his parents remote start the car from inside the house. And he like freaks out, and he's like, I have the Force. Like it is the cutest commercial. It is my all-time favorite commercial. That is so
classic.
Good.
I got two for you. I think the first one's a Super Bowl commercial, and that's Old Spice Anything.
Oh yeah,
all of the Old Spice commercials. But the one that I know is The one I know is, and this is, I was trying to remember the words, is Puppy Monkey Baby.
Oh, yes. I remember that one. Yep. Yeah, that's a quirky one.
That was quirky and moderately disturbing, and it sticks with you. That's brilliant. That's good advertising.
Yeah, it was pretty disturbing. I remember watching that movie and like, what? Just like all of us kind of sat there and we're like, what in the world?
What is happening? Yeah, no, that I'm on board. I love it.
Yeah, but oh, that's fun. Yeah, so I'll have to rank my favorite commercials when we come back. It'll be fun.
I'll do the same. We'll have to do a whole comparison. So Rick, if you're watching, which you better be, it's your show, man. Well, it's our show, but you're on it. You know what?
He's kind of leading the charge. He's leading the charge, like,
yeah, exactly.
We're just here.
Yeah. So,
but
we'll
so
have to do a comparison.
Super
I love
Bowl
that.
and Oscars. Yep, it'll be fun.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and sign off. Courtney, I'm going to let you sign off first. What do you need to tell everybody?
My name's Courtney. Hang out, hit me up I'm usually on Instagram. I'm not really on Twitter. I don't do Facebook. I did too much social media as it is. So if you want to chat, hit me up on Instagram. That's usually where you can find me. But yeah, I appreciate everybody tuning in, and we'll see you next week. What about you, Bryan?
Do you have the outro clip ready? We want to do this nice and smooth here.
Yeah, I think I got it right here.
Okay, cool. We're still working on how to find all the video clips. So I am Bryan Chatlin. I'm your friendly neighborhood photographer. I'm on Instagram at Chatlin Photo, like it's listed there, right there. I got to get that pointing. Just give me a second here.
I know.
So yeah, hit me up. But all things geek, if you guys got some fun comments, you got feedback. If you agree with us, if you disagree with us, make a comment on the video, click like, share, subscribe, all of the standard stuff I think I'm supposed to say right now. And this is Friends from Work, Let's Chat. So we'll talk to you guys next time.
See y'all later.
Everybody come on, let's get down. Get down.